Huge week for the Texans. Is it even bigger than we're giving it credit for? Plus, the biggest blessing of 2023 for the Texans has nothing to do with CJ Stroud. I promise I'll make that make sense. Plus, some wacky stuff going on, some interesting stuff going on, and a massive day tomorrow. So much to get into, such little time. Go inside the locker room.
Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, Locker Room. Yeah, we in the Locker Room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do.
Biggest blessing for the Texans. Nothing to do with CJ Stroud. I promise I'll try to make it make sense. Try. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610, the Odyssey app. You can see me in the Locker Room, #1 stream for Texans daily digital content. Been doing this for since I've been allowed to, 15 months, I'd say. And this is the main place to come to get the pulse of what's going on with the Houston Texans, whether you're a fan or not. Appreciate you for coming through. Be sure to subscribe, and ride along for some the pulse of what's going on with the Texans. We got an exclusive interview coming up on Thursday. So I want to get into the biggest blessing that the Houston Texans have had happen that has nothing to do with CJ Stroud. And there's been a lot of dialogue about, CJ Stroud and how the Texans got lucky getting him at number 2, whether it was winning against Indianapolis, whether it was Carolina taking Bryce Young, et cetera. We all remember the draft dialogue. And there's been, I think McAfee even said it yesterday. I think it was the headline in Carolina after Bryce Young threw a couple of interceptions on Sunday. And I don't disagree with it. I mean, with what we see right now, it looks like the Texans are pretty fortunate that they got CJ Stroud. And I think if anyone in their right mind could have anticipated that this is what CJ Stroud's career was going to look like early on, there probably would have been teams tanking. Like the Texans probably would have found a way to lose that game. And they probably would have traded up if they could. So the meaningfulness of CJ Stroud coming to the Texans, I'm not minimizing that. I'm not questioning any of that. All I'm saying is there were a lot of teams that probably would have done what Carolina did, including the Texans. And I think sometimes, this just kind of happens with quarterbacks. So while I do think it's the most significant thing to happen, I think perhaps one of the biggest blessings that has happened with the Houston Texans, and I think it's actually helped CJ Stroud as well. I think you can actually connect it to CJ Stroud, and I think you can connect it to what we're seeing right now. One of the biggest pleasant surprises that the Texans have had right now, and that's Brandon Cooks asking for a trade. The Texans right now have 3 of the top 10 in the NFL in yards after catch. One of those is Nico Collins. The other one is Tank Dell. And the other one is Noah Brown. And if Brandon Cooks were here, first of all, I think he's a weirdo. I know there's some people that like to carry water for him because he was nice to him and stuff. But, I mean, the fact that he wanted to be traded because Jack Easterby left, I think that's weirdo stuff, quite honestly. And if he says that's not why he did, then he's lying. It's a flat out lie. He was down with the rebuild, and it's no coincidence that it happened right after, and those two guys were really close. So there's that. The other thing is, as good as Brandon Cooks was for the Texans, and I'm not saying he wasn't the best wide receiver that the Texans had the last few years, there might be a decline going on with Brandon Cooks. There might be somewhat of a decline with Brandon Cooks. And I put these stats out earlier today. Noah Brown, the Cowboys wanted to move on from Noah Brown. They wanted to do better than Noah Brown. They wanted to trade for Brandon Cooks. And these are the stats so far for Noah Brown and Brandon Cooks. These are the stats. Noah Brown has 14 catches for 267 yards, 19.1 yards per catch, and a touchdown in 4 games. Brandon Cooks has 17 catches for 165, 9.7 yards per catch, 2 touchdowns in 7 games. So Noah Brown has 3 less receptions in 3 less games. He has 102 more yards in 3 less games. He's averaging more than 10 yards per catch in 3 less games, and he has 1 less touchdown in 3 less games. Brandon Cooks was supposed to be the explosive guy for the Cowboys. He's averaging 9.9 yards per catch. Now, maybe you want to say it's a system thing, whatever you want to say, that's fine. But the reality is Noah Brown makes about, I think, $3 million a year. Brandon Cooks makes 16, and Noah Brown's doing his thing. The other thing about this is because Brandon Cooks isn't here, you're kind of seeing a little bit more Nico Collins. You're kind of seeing a little bit more Tank Dell. And you're kind of seeing a good vibe with these guys. Say what you want. 4 locker rooms have decided to trade Brandon Cooks. Now, there's been good value the first few trades, but they've decided to get rid of Brandon Cooks despite how effective of a ball player he's been. Is CJ Stroud if Brandon Cooks is still here? Mopey-ass Brandon Cooks, who wanted to go drink the Kool-Aid with Jack Easterby after they got rid of him? I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Put it in the comments. Just having Brandon Cooks here, I don't think Tank Dell's getting as much opportunity. I don't think that Nico Collins is getting as much opportunity. I don't think that Noah Brown's getting as much opportunity. I haven't even mentioned Dalton Schultz. So the CJ Stroud thing, that's the most relevant thing to happen. And we can talk about the blessing. I just don't think it's as much of like a massive mistake. Like if the Texans wanted to take a quarterback, then CJ Stroud was the next logical option, right? And that's where they were, and they got it, and they're happy with it. And I think if there were a draft redo, I think Carolina probably goes with CJ, and the Texans end up with Rice. But Brandon Cooks asking for a trade last year might be the biggest blessing in disguise, and it might actually have a hand in CJ Stroud instead of force-feeding Brandon Cooks. CJ Stroud is spreading the ball around to where Dalton Schultz is a couple more games like the ones he's had the last few games from being in Pro Bowl discussion. Brandon Cooks is getting killed in Dallas. He's not close to what they thought they were getting. And CJ Stroud spreading the ball around to multiple guys. I haven't even mentioned Robert Woods, who was his favorite target before he went down. So you're spreading the love out, and you don't have Brandon Cooks, and you don't have that overall vibe. So I think that is a massive, 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 massive break for the Texans. Coochie Mane asking why we're talking about Cooks. Are you dumb? Like we're talking about Brandon Cooks because Noah Brown's doing his thing. Did I not just explain that? Put your nose in the corner, sir. Or ma'am, whatever the hell you are, Coochie Mane. I don't know what that is. That's a 5-minute timeout. The hell you think I'm talking about him for? Because he's a former Texan and because the Texans got receivers. Rock WP says Tank would have taken Cook's position. Maybe so. I don't know. The Texans aren't like BOB veteran heavy. I don't know whether he would have or not. I don't think that you just I don't think you sit $16 million on the bench. And Brandon Cooks is still a good player. Probably wouldn't have probably would have at least gotten a decent chunk of the pie that's going on. Cooks being here would be a negative. They needed to clean out all the trash. Good riddance. I agree with that. Tank Dell is a blessing himself. That's a good point. Tank Dell falling down to the 3rd round, that could end up being a blessing. People kind of questioning his size. People said that maybe he would be a slot guy. He's damn sure not a slot guy. So, yeah, I like what we got, and I think almost everyone agrees with me. I mean, the receivers that we've gotten so far, I think you got to be pleased with them for sure. Jacob says 10-minute timeout for the name. Yeah, Coochie Mane. That's insane. I do. I'm kind of pleasantly surprised by the receivers. I think most of y'all uh, would be, no doubt. So we got some news with the Texans today. We've got some roster moves, and I think these are clues as to what to expect tomorrow. Because tomorrow is going to be a really big day. Tomorrow is a massive day because you're going to get the practice report. We're going to get the injury report. While I'm on the air, 10 Central to 2, going to be out there at Texas Star Grill Shop on 69 and Shep if you want to come through and say what's up. We're going to get practice reports as to who's on the field, who's practicing, who's not. And then we're going to get the practice report with the status of a lot of guys. There's a lot of questions, specifically kicker, safety. Really, there's a lot of questions everywhere as to what the injury report is going to look like. And quite frankly, the most significant injury news could be up in Cincinnati. Jamar Chase isn't sounding like a guy that is going to play, which would be a huge break for the Texans. Some people are asking about Derek Stingley. I have no idea. I don't know what's up with him. D'Amico Ryan said to yesterday that he's heading toward the right. He's on the right track and he might play this year. I don't know what the hell that means. No clue at all. But the roster moves that might be some clues for the Texans. They elevated Graylin Arnold. He can play safety and corner. So that could be, an MJ Stewart or Jimmy Ward type of replacement. He can line up in the nickel. They can line him up all over the place. So Graylin Arnold, that might kind of make you a little bit concerned about Jimmy Ward. Although they did put MJ Stewart to IR. They signed Matt Amendola and Brady Breeze to the practice squad. Breeze, another safety. So keep an eye on that. Amendola, a kicker, most recently with the Roughnecks. He's got some experience in the NFL. He might be kicking in Cincinnati. That terrifies me, especially with how good Fairbairn was kicking. And then Hassan Ridgeway on IR again. Damn it. He was really good stopping the run. And then MJ Stewart, really good depth guy at safety. Actually went out to play after Jimmy Ward. He's on IR. But no Jimmy Ward on IR. No Ka'imi Fairbairn on IR. So keep your fingers crossed that you're not without those guys for 4 weeks. Although who knows whether or not they play on Sunday. Jimmy Ward's very important. Jimmy Ward this year, they missed him early on. And then when they were without Tavier, he was doing his thing. But their record with Jimmy Ward this year, they're 4-2. They haven't won a game that Jimmy Ward has missed. They're 4-2 with him. They're 0-2 without him. So Jimmy Ward's a very important piece to what they do. He's got 35 tackles in those 6 games. He's all over the place. He's kind of one of those guys that you just always look up and you see Jimmy Ward. So if they're without Jimmy Ward, they'll be trying to win their first ball game without Jimmy Ward. So tomorrow we will get a look of what's going on with those guys. We'll probably get some clues, and then the Thursday report, and then the Friday report's basically when you get the verdict. Here's the depth chart that the Texans put out. I'll try to make this a little bit bigger if I can. But you can see right there, CJ Stroud, no surprise there. Dameon Pierce is on the depth chart. Now, don't make too much of this. And I actually got kind of hip to this because I talked to some guys over there in the building. Don't make too much of the like seeing Dameon Pierce or seeing Jimmy Ward, because if you're on the active roster, like before you're inactive, they're just going to do the depth chart as if everyone's healthy. So that's why you see Robert Woods first string and all that. Don't make too much of that. That just means that they're not on IR. So don't get too excited that you're gonna have all these people because like Fairbairn, like they just signed Amendola. So don't make too much of that. I wouldn't make too much of the early depth chart. And that was actually a good educational piece for me. Because I think you remember when Titus was hurt and then he was on the depth chart, and then the next day he was Titus Howard was on IR. That was that's why that happens. Um, that's what goes on there. Devin says, "Let's go, Landry. Making that 13-hour drive for the Cards game. Got to see team in person for my birthday. Hopefully, I see some of y'all out there too. Hey, come through, man. Hit me up at Landry Locker. The Nuff Said tailgate. If you're coming in town, I always recommend just throwing them $20 on the Cash App. They don't require it, but they do. They got all the brew. They got all the grub. A lot of fun. So if you're coming through, just hit me up at Landry Locker. We'll be in the parking lot. And we'll set you up. Nuff Said tailgate, blue lot. Look for the fire truck. Look for Freddie, Spin, Marty, all those guys. They got the Cash App thing, and it's worth it big time. They're fully stocked up on beer. They got a sponsor and stuff. So that is the place to go, Devin, for sure. Come through, say hi for real. I'll be mad at you if you don't. Quite frankly. Speaking of Titus Howard, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if y'all want to see this video or not, man. I don't know if y'all want to see this video or not. Should I show this Titus Howard video that someone sent me or not? I feel bad for him because he's playing guard and it's not his natural position. And even when he's at tackle, he's more of a pass blocker than a run blocker. And I do think that the pass blocking with Titus and Tunsil when CJ drops back has been pretty good. But man, some of this run blocking stuff, bro. I mean, if Shaq were a football announcer, this would win Shaq in a full. I could not believe what I saw when I saw this play. And I mean, there have been hints of it, but it hadn't been this bad with Titus. Again, I'm not a film watcher. I do see Howard on Twitter a lot. He's been going back and forth with some folks. He's a nice guy. Like Titus Howard's a nice guy. I think when he gets on social media, it kind of doesn't do very well for himself. I don't think he's built to be talking trash on social media. And he's been giving away a lot of tickets. I'll say this. If this were a snippet of what I was looking like at guard, I'd be slashing tires around town so you couldn't get to the stadium. If this is what I'm doing, if this is what I was working with, man, I'd be putting tacks down Kirby all the way. I'd be getting, if you got to get to the stadium at 8:00 or whatever, I'm driving down Kirby in the back of a pickup, putting tacks on there so people can't watch me. I'm damn sure not giving away tickets. He's a much more secure guy than I. Goodness gracious. We got to get him back to tackle quick. I'll show it. But here's the Titus video that I got, the run blocking. This is a real struggle. Watch him right there. All right, you see him? He's about to pull. Texans about to run. This is the Boone play. You got CJ in the slot. Watch 71 right here. Can y'all see this? All right. Are y'all sure? Are y'all sure y'all want this? Shacked in the full. Dun, dun, dun. Shacked in a full. Dun, dun, dun. Shacked in a full. Dun, dun, dun. Shacked in a full. Whoop! What was that? Again, maybe there's like some deeper meaning. I'm not a film study guy, but what is going on here? Shacked in a full. Dun, dun, dun. Shacked in a full. Dun, dun, dun. Shacked in a full. Dun, dun, dun. What? You see snippets of this, but I don't even know what. Maybe you're just already going to leave your feet. Seems like you could just stay up. But I don't know what's going on here. I'm sure they talked to him in the film room about that. I don't know what was going on here. Yeah, Boone's like, okay, I would like to follow you. Following you would be fun. Like maybe we could go this way. You could get him. You could get this guy here. But no. Whiff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued to see the film study that goes. And if there's any like smart football guys, again, y'all come on my channel, y'all know this. What do I always say before I break down highlights? What do I say at the draft? Not a film guy. I don't pretend to be a film guy. There are film guys that are smarter than I. I can lead you in the direction of the John Harrises, the Lance Zerlines, the Seth Paynes, the Clint Sterners. I can lead you in that direction. A lot of times, whenever you start talking about it, you know, you get corrected. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. I know it's one play. I get that. There's a lot of those, man. There's a lot of those, though. I don't know what to say about that. It's all good though. He's doing his thing. They're doing their thing. It's all good. I just didn't know what was that was tough. That was tough. I want to hear from Noah Brown. He's a friend of the radio show. Had some fun talking to Noah Brown at training camp. He's a New Jersey dude, just kind of a hardo, real tough dude, hard ass. Don't think he likes attention. Noah Brown, like the interesting thing about Noah Brown, I was talking about him a lot this offseason, is first of all, he likes to block. And that's the reason that he's in the NFL is because he can block and he can play special teams. At Ohio State, I'll pull this up. This is kind of gonna impress you, I think, just to show like kind of what Noah Brown is about. Because I have a very, very strong respect level for Noah Brown. And if you're not familiar with him, I think you will as well. These are Noah Brown's college stats. And this is wild when you look at it. So his freshman year at Ohio State, he played 2 games. He had 1 catch and he had 9 yards. Didn't play in 2015. And then in 2016, he had 32 catches, 402 yards, and didn't score a touchdown. So in his career at Ohio State, Noah Brown had 33 catches, no touchdowns in a few seasons. He went to the NFL. He went to the Dallas Cowboys. And he ended up making the team because of his ability to block and his ability to play special teams. And with the Dallas Cowboys last year, when they had injuries, he actually did okay filling in. But when you have 33 catches, you go to the NFL, you go to camp, like you're already fighting an uphill battle. Like there are guys that are all conference, all American types that don't even make the NFL. Year 1, Noah Brown with the Cowboys, 4 catches. Just kind of special teams. Year 2, 5 catches. Year 3, 14. Year 4, 16. Last year, when he got a little more opportunity, 43 catches, 4 touchdowns, all the last couple of years. And this year, he's averaging 19 yards per carry. His catch. His yards per catch has gone up literally every single year. It's gone from 8.3 to 10.8 to 11 to 11.5 to 12.9 to 19.1. And that's as he's getting more catches and more opportunities. So, a lot of times you talk about busts. It's fun to it's fun to 7 touchdowns. I'm an idiot. 7 receiving touchdowns, no rushing touchdowns. Yes, thank you for correcting me on that. But yeah, I just find myself like really having a lot of respect for Noah Brown and everything that he has done. 7 touchdowns receiving, 0 rushing. So there you go. Appreciate you. But still, on that few catches, beyond impressive. Very, very funny. 0 rushing TDs. Much love for that. Let's hear from him now, just so you can get a little taste of what Noah Brown's like. Just kind of a hard-nosed dude, goes about his business. I don't even think he probably likes going up to the podium. By the way, he does not like the pizza in Houston as much. He's a big Jersey guy, so he's all about that pizza. Let's hear from Noah Brown, though, here in the locker room. Don't hear from him much. Let's hear what he's got to say. Here is little Noah Brown action. Stand by. See what he's got. Hold on just a sec. Got to get Noah Brown. Okay. All right, here we go. Boom. Let's go. There we go.
Yeah, we got a look from Tampa that we were expecting, looking for throughout the week. We knew we had opportunity for a big play, which is why we wanted to come out of the half with it. So when we saw it, I just tried to stay detailed on my route and execute.
And Karras palled me, man. Pause. Get a taste of what Noah Brown's like. You got me. Here he is.
We made the big play. Tank made a huge block to spring us. So it was a big play for us. It's big anytime I can help make an impact for my team. I feel like I had more opportunities to do that on Sunday, and I capitalized on them, and it's great to help us get a win.
God, he wants to get the hell off the stage.
No, I saw Tank lay the block, and I knew once he did lay the block that we were getting to the end zone. So I definitely appreciate Tank for that.
CJ mentioned that on that last drive, y'all had a brief conversation about adjusting your route.
Right.
Shorter.
Right.
First of all, how often does that happen with CJ, and how impressive is that, if at all? Like, what stands out to you about that, about him being able to do such a young player?
That's huge. There's a lot of 6, 7, 8 year quarterbacks that you don't see take ownership of the offense in a situation like that, especially to go ahead and we both noticed that the linebackers were playing a little bit deeper, expecting us to sit down at a certain spot, and for him to take ownership of that and say sit down here, I'm gonna put the ball in you, we're gonna get this thing rolling, and for us to execute, it just speaks to how special CJ is and how he sees the game.
Was there ever any doubt in your mind once you were on that field for 46 seconds that you all were going to win that game?
No, I think we made a decision at halftime that we weren't coming out without a W. One play that stood out to me, I don't even think we got points on the drive. It was like 3rd and 14. We threw a screen to Nico, and we said in the huddle, like, we're getting this first down no matter what. And for us to get it, it kind of just gave us that confidence that, when we're focused and when we're on it, we can get our job done.
What was it about the halftime adjustment? Like, what did you all say to each other coming out of, especially from the offensive side of the ball, coming out of halftime?
It wasn't too much strategically said. It was just, lock in a little bit more. We didn't feel like they were doing too much to stop us. We felt like we kind of were shooting ourselves in the foot here and there. So, just to eliminate that as much as we can, we felt like we'll come out victorious.
Curious, like, how tough was that to miss those amount of games, and how is it for you to kind of be able to showcase what I'm sure you believe what you were capable of, and coaches as well?
It's definitely tough to put in a good off season and then suffer injury to start the season, but I know it's a long year. It's not the first time I've been hurt, so I know how to stay focused and come back ready to make an impact, and that was my focus as soon as I went down, is to come back and hit the ground rolling, and I think we've done a good job of that.
Day to day, week to week grind, what y'all focus on, how much conversation are y'all having, or just in your own personal interactions with your teammates, how much conversation is being had about y'all's bigger picture goals, and what could potentially come with the season?
I think we're constantly thinking about it. We got group chats talking football outside of the building. Just random texts at night. Just what do we see here? What do we see there? So I think we're all focused. We're all hungry, and we want to get this thing going in the right direction.
So, you feel like you're 100%?
feel like you're in a consistent rhythm at 100% coming from the injury? Or do you feel like you have still a ways to go before you feel really comfortable?
No, I feel good. I feel good. I felt good since the Saints game coming back. That was my goal, to hit the ground running, and I feel like I did that.
Back in Columbus, what did you already know about CJ and before you got here and your teammates, and now that you've been teammates for a while, what did you learn about him?
Well, to be honest, until I got here, I didn't know a whole lot about him. We didn't overlap at all at Ohio State. I knew he was a hell of a quarterback. I follow Ohio State since I've left. I was just looking forward to get here and working with him. And since the day I got here working with him, you could tell he's a different guy, and he's special. You don't come across quarterbacks like this often, and I'm glad to be playing with him.
How is it to have multiple wide receivers at any given moment to be able to get 100 yards in a game?
Right. I think it speaks to the depth we have in our room. We still got Rob, who's been sidelined for a couple of weeks, who can come out and do the same thing. So, I think it makes us hard to defend, hard to game plan for, and I'm excited about what our room can do.
On Tank and the block, I don't know if that's the right way, but what is it, for somebody his size, what is it about him? Is it the attitude or approach? What is it about him that allows, and does it shock you at all that somebody that size is that willing and able to block him the way that he kind of put you guys out in that fashion?
Yeah, you cut on the tape. I don't think Tank knows he's that size. I think he's willing to go in there and do whatever he's got to do, and I respect him for that. Appreciate that, and I think that's why he's special. Because he'll go across the middle, make a catch, he'll throw a block. He's in there doing what he's got to do.
How influential are you in that though? Because with your former team, one way that you were able to get on the field at first was because of the way that you blocked it,
Right.
your blocking skills. Have you been teaching some of these wide receivers some of that, or such as Tank?
I'm not the most vocal guy. I try to lead by what I do. I think that Tank and the young guys, everybody in the room, we all take little bits and pieces from each other's game. I think if I can rub off on them in that way, I'm definitely appreciative of that. But I think that's his own want to right there.
Midway through the season, what surprised you the most about this team? New coach, new quarterback, a bunch of new players. What surprised you the most about this team so far?
Not much, really. I think that during the offseason when I got here, I saw that we got a lot of special pieces, a lot of pieces that maybe some people don't know a whole lot about, but real football players. And I was excited from the get-go to get out here and display that with them. And I think we're heading on the right track.
After the game, CJ and a couple others gave a lot of credit to offensive coordinator Bobby Sloyd. Even more so in the second half, did you see anything shift with Bobby Sloyd, or what did you see from his standpoint?
I think he in the second half he kind of just opened it up a little bit, just put the ball in the air. We also still ran the ball, but just seeing what's working and what's not, and being willing to adjust and on the fly. And I think that's one of Bobby's best things, and he did it well.
Your first few years, the production wasn't there, but the past couple seasons, you've been able to really show the league what type of talent you have. What's been the biggest change from your first 4 years of your career to last year?
I think I came in. First I left college early, a little bit raw, talent-wise, but I had things that I could do as far as blocking the special teams that allowed me to stay around and until my game kind of transformed to where it is now. Along with that, losing a lot of weight. I came in the league about 225. I'm about 205 now. So, I'm moving better, I'm more explosive, and I think it's
Okay, there you go. That's Noah Brown. I like the different personalities on this squad. That's just a no nonsense Jersey dude. I think Newark is where he told me that he was from. Just worked his way into the NFL. We already showed the stats: 7 touchdowns, under 40 catches. Just out there, doesn't want attention. His ass was gone when we went in the locker room after the game the other day. His ass was gone. Just wants to go out there, play ball, do his thing. And it's good to have dudes like that on the squad. It's good to have dudes that are loud and vocal. It's good to have, the charisma of CJ, but when you got the no nonsense guy, it's just a really good mix. And speaking of mix, I do wonder, because we don't know, for me with Robert Woods, I don't mean this as like an insult to Robert Woods, because I love Robert Woods. I wanted them to sign Robert Woods the second that he got released, or the second that he was available. I think he's a very valuable asset. I think he's been a very valuable piece. I think he's a good resource. And I think down the stretch, Robert Woods is someone that you want on the field with all these other guys. But with where he is right now, like if it's something soft tissue or whatever, I don't think you need to rush Robert Woods back. I think you need to let Robert Woods just be ready to go down the stretch to where you can mix all these guys in. And I do wonder, how is Bobby Slowick going to mix all these guys in when, God willing, they all get healthy? You got Nico, you got Tank, you got Noah doing his thing. You're going to have Robert Woods. You're going to have Dalton Schultz. Like, how do you mix all these guys in? That's going to be interesting to see how they do that. I know early on there was some frustration with the Noah Brown screens. Then all of a sudden, in the Saints game where Noah comes back, I think Tank was out. You saw him kind of fill the void, make some big plays there. Then you saw Woods out, and you've seen Noah make some plays. You saw him make what I think was the biggest play the other day. So it'll be interesting to see how those guys work in. I don't know how Hutchinson fits in. I think Hutchinson's going to be a good player eventually, and I think he's a good asset. He was on the field at times. I like the way that he looks when he runs sweeps. I don't know about y'all. I would much rather see him running the sweeps than Tank Dell. It's just I don't like seeing my little stud wide receiver like Tank Dell get hit by defensive linemen and linebackers. You can't even run the ball when they don't know you're going to run it. I just don't like telling them that you're going to run it. Especially, I mean, y'all saw what the run blocking can look like in certain instances. So that's just me. I'm kind of good on the Tank Dell type of thing. Someone said something that I want to touch on. When Noah Brown. Oh, we should revisit the Dak comment he made in the preseason. National media torched him for that. Yeah, I actually talked about him. If you missed the Noah Brown interview, I think it's available on the Odyssey app. Just type in Noah Brown in the loop. I thought he got really headline porned. I think Cowherd ran with it. Him talking about, the difference between Dak and CJ and stuff like that. I thought he kind of got headline porn there. I mean, you saw that guy. Does that guy look like someone's going to come out there and try to talk crap about someone? Like, I thought he responded to a question and got taken way out of context. I thought it was pretty whack, quite honestly, with Noah Brown. So I don't think he would take shots at Dak. Yeah, can't believe is on so late. Thankful, subscribed and listened to Landry on 610. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I do this. We go live as much as we can. There's a daily video all the time. We've had daily videos about 99% of the time, unless there's like a holiday. But even then, sometimes I'll load them up. So I appreciate you for coming through. Please subscribe, like, right along. Much appreciated. We talked about the Texans' blessing of Brandon Cooks requesting a trade. The job Noah Brown, the guy that the Cowboys did not want, has done compared to Brandon Cooks in 3 less games, been far superior production. The fact that Brandon Cooks' departure has led to CJ Stroud being able to spread the ball. Keeping our eye on the injury report tomorrow, which should come out around 2. Practice should start there. So we'll be able to check those out. So be sure to get down on In the Loop tomorrow. Get the Odyssey app and stuff. Get down, pause. I'm getting pawed and a little bit out of control today. It's getting late. But yeah, we got to watch the Jamar Chase. We got to watch the Texans injury report. JM brings something up. Get me hip to it. Just go ahead and describe it. I'll wait for it. I'll wait for you, JM. Did we talk about Stingley's IG story? I didn't see it. I try to give these guys, we talk to them each week. We cover the squad. I try to give them some space on IG, unless, Deshaun's doing weird things like he was when he became materialistic after he signed the deal. But I don't know what happened on Stingley's IG story. You'll have to fill me in on that. I have no idea. I didn't even know Stingley was like a social media dude. So you're gonna have to keep me hip on what's up with that. Oh, he had a practice jersey. Okay, cool. We'll see. I won't hold my breath. But that would be nice, especially if Chase is in. I know him and Chase did some battle at LSU in practice, so maybe he's itching his way there. I wouldn't bet on Stingley playing this week, but you never know. They can activate him at any time. So we will see how that whole thing goes with Stingley. I feel like I was going to bring something else up, but I do not remember. It was something to do with the. Someone said something about Tank. Someone said something about Hutch. Yeah, I have no idea. Damn, I forgot what I was going to say. I feel like it was important. Damn it. Man, it's not important. It's never that important. Damn, what was I talking about? Texans. Let's see. Wide receiver, tight end, linebacker. Man, I don't even remember. And what's going to piss me off is that I'm gonna remember it as soon as I sign off. It might have been something. It might be that Marihucci. You might be right. That is very, very possible for sure. Damn, what was it? It was something on social media with the Texans. I promise I'm not playing dumb. I felt like I had something to say that happened today with the Texans. Damn, I don't know. Someone's asking about Brandon Hill. I don't know. I don't think he's someone that they want to put on the football field. I think they like Arnold and some of these other dudes. I do think, though, that this Cincinnati game is a little bit I don't know if it's going to be like 2019 when the Texans were trying to go from good to great. They went on the road and beat Kansas City. I know that's a bad example, and I know, as time's gone on, we've kind of rewritten history and kind of minimized the excitement that Deshaun and others provided us with. But I that was kind of like a game where you kind of believed, maybe this team can get good and maybe they're going to be competing for a while. But I wonder, like, if you beat Cincinnati, if you go on the road and beat Cincinnati, and I've looked at it as I want them to go 5-5 and have a clean slate with 7 games remaining. That's where I'm at. But if you do win this, I do think it kind of shifts the belief and changes the belief. So maybe I've kind of done a job of minimizing the game when I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't minimize it. I think we should just go all in. And my confession is this, and don't put too much stock in this. I feel like they got a chance to win the thing, especially without Chase. I think they're going to be able to run the rock a little bit more than they have. Now, do I think they need to commit to the run and stubbornly try to do it? No, but I think they're going to be able to run the ball better. And I think that I think it's going to be a good game. But we will see. We will figure it out. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. I still don't remember what the hell I was going to say. I'll figure it out, though. And no matter what happens, we are all in this together. Thanks for coming through. Be sure to subscribe, like. Tomorrow, going to do a little Will Anderson post. Going to be a rowdy show. Be at Texas Star Grill Shop. Appreciate everyone for coming through. When it comes to this stuff, we're all in it together. Thanks for coming through.
This is what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localized every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not 2. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days. Opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number 1. You don't need to try your luck.